Now, talking of World Championships, in studio, I've got a Kenyan contingent that is going to the World Championships next month. So, and this is the lacrosse team. They have been to the age grade championships, the under 19 for women, the under 20 for women. And it's not every day that you get a Kenyan team have a film made about them. The Kenya lacrosse under 19 girls team had a film made about them. And it was such a big hit, and everyone told their story. And in studio with me, well, I've got half a dozen of the people who are here. And I know at the other side I've got Winright Muhando, who is the acting general manager, Lacrosse Kenya. But here with me, I've got Vincent Onyangi, who's a player and a coach of lacrosse. He's got the stick, he's got the ball there. And also, yeah, I've got Valerie and, Valerie Anyango. How are you? And also, McLean Saj. Now, very basic. Let me just have this thing. Now, you can see this. It has got a net, and it's quite stiff, I've got to say. It's not as for this one. And we've got this one that he has. This one is a net that, you know, it's very, very easy. I mean, you can see that it's got movement. It can move in and out. Let's just start. What's the key difference between these two?
So this the women's stick. It's not deep as men's stick because their game is not so viral. Like there's no contact.
Aggressive.
So, yeah, it's not.
It's not aggressive.
As men's.
As men's.
Yeah.
Ah.
So our sticks are deep pockets, so you can cradle and run through guys as they beat you up a bit. So yeah.
What do you mean, beat you up?
Yeah, it's so aggressive.
All right, Valerie, just hold this. Pen and paper. So here you are cradling. So what would you be saying about beat?
So I'm an attackman. You are a defender.
Yes.
I have my helmet on, my chest pads on. So I have to go to try and dodge you.
Okay.
So and you have to take the ball. You have to hit my stick.
All right.
Yeah, with that stick. So I'm here. So you hit. I change direction. So
I have to keep moving with you.
Yeah.
And then I have to keep
checking my stick.
Check this way.
Yeah.
So basically, what I'm basically it's basically stealing the ball from you.
Yeah.
That is the whole essence of. I mean,
yes.
When we are inside there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now the other one is. This is also
the men's stick.
This is.
Yeah.
This is men's.
Yeah.
Also, given that this is it's got movement.
Yeah.
All right. So you've got it, and we're going to be getting demonstrations here. And lacrosse. This is a sport that's very famous in North America. The Canadians love it and they play a lot about it. And let me just, as I go back there, so that you can also be doing some demonstrations, how you pass the ball around, and maybe even as the fouls as they speak. Let's get to hear from Winright Muhando. Winright, just give us a background of how lacrosse came into Kenya, and one person who's seated next to you became one of the faces that's been on YouTube a lot. Yes. When they talk about lacrosse in Kenya, we're talking about, you know, Victoria Nasimbi.
Right.
Muhando, how the sport came to Kenya, and we saw teenage girls go and play at the World Championships. Start there. Yeah, Muhando too.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It's up to you.
Oh, my name
get
is
us going, Vincent. The story of lacrosse in Kenya, and eventually for the under 19 girls and also the under 21 men playing at the World Championships. Start us there.
Okay, my name is Winright Muhando, the acting general manager, Kenya Lacrosse. The sport was introduced in Kenya in 2009 by the lady called Storm Trentham from the UK. And originally the sport had started in Uganda, then it moved from Uganda to Western, then it got itself to Nairobi in 2011.
Oh, so the migration of the game, and just now tell us basically how the people caught up with it, and how everyone now started getting active in the sport, such that it spread to schools, because that's where you'd get a proper under-19 team.
So initially, the sport started with the women's side, the girls. So they they started training in preparation for the 2019 World Under 20 Women Championships in Canada. So the setup of the girls that went to that tournament in 2019 were mostly based in schools around the western area. That is Bishop Sulumeti, Moi Girls, Eldoret, and other schools within western region that time.
And one of the persons who traveled with that team is Victoria Nasimiu. Victoria is to the left of Muhando. Victoria, just tell us about getting into this sport and eventually getting that opportunity to represent the country and having a story of Lacrosse Kenya done in the form of a film.
Thank you very much. Well, I started playing lacrosse in 2018 back in high school when I joined in Form 1. And we had Storm Trentham who brought lacrosse to Kenya, and she was basically getting coaches, most especially from the UK and Uganda, who are older in the game. So they used to come to schools to train us, and we prepared well for the Under-19 World Championships in Canada. And the experience was awesome. We were actually the first African team to participate in the World Championships, and we won 4 games. Yeah, and it was tough, but we really did our best. Yeah.
Just give us the experience of, making it, going to the World Championships. What was the story? Did you have to play against Uganda, or was it this invitation where Storm said, "Look, I've got this team comprising young girls who are based in Kenya. They can come play the game here in Canada"?
Yeah, actually, we really had a lot of friendlies with Uganda, and sometimes we had teams from the UK. Like I remember there is a time we played against Messiah College, that is from the UK. Preparations were very tough, and Storm organized everything for us, together with other Kenyan people who helped her. And she managed to get us to Canada.
Tell us about the experience in Canada, winning those 4 games and the impact it had for you as a player and your teammates also, and how the rest of the world eventually perceived Lacrosse Kenya.
Well, it was really, really amazing, actually being the first African team to get to the World Championships. And most of those white people looked at us and they were like, "We can't do it." And actually we were meeting some people. You ask them, "For how long have you been playing lacrosse?" And someone tells you, "I've been playing ever since I was 5 years." And for most of us, we had just played lacrosse for 2 years, 3 years, and we caught up. We managed to beat 4 teams. Yep, and the toughest teams like Germany and Israel, we really gave them a good game, actually.
What was the reaction to the lacrosse world then after the performance by these girls who played the sport for 2 years maximum?
Wow, everyone was amazed, because actually we had confidence in ourselves that we were going to do it, because we had prepared, we were physically fit, we had the endurance, we were well off, and we didn't actually expect to do that much, but we pushed ourselves to the end and we did our best.
Wow, the story is there, and eventually what they did is that they were filmed. Once you saw yourself in a film, a documentary, what was this reaction?
Well, it was amazing. Like, we felt so special for the first time ever, having something that great for us. It was a privilege, actually. Yeah, and we were so proud, like, to represent our country. It was an honor, actually.
Oh, well, we'll be coming back to you. And now let me move on to Davis. Davis Wofula, he's a coach, a lacrosse coach. We could talk about the men's under-21s because they've also played at the global level.
Yeah, as you said, my name is Davis, Coach Davis from Mukuru Lacrosse in Embakasi slums. So, as Winright said, lacrosse was introduced in back 2009. and it was introduced to Nairobi Mukuru slums in 2011 by the same lady, Coach Storm, and I was among the first people to, I was curious to know, hey, these things I used to do, what are they used for? And that's how I started training lacrosse. And mostly it was introduced basically to mentor the slums kids so that they don't involve in these funny activities, just to keep them busy. But as years went by, we started picking interest in the sports, and that's how they came up with Winright here to introduce us to the world level. Now we started training to the world level, and we managed to get from the other area of Mukuru, we managed to get 15 guys to travel to the world stage.
Okay, so Mukuru is there are several of them.
Yeah.
So which Mukuru at which Mukuru did it start?
Mukuru Kwanjenga.
Kwanjenga.
Yeah. It started from Mukuru Kwanjenga, a place called Mikato. Yeah.
And where you went and picked the 15 others?
Yeah, so I was training the almost 30 guys, but unfortunately 15 made it to the world stage, and they are the ones who are chosen to represent Kenya at the world stage. Yeah.
Tell us about the experience playing at the world level.
So at first, when we were told we are going to play at Limerick, Canada, Ireland, we were like, it's not serious, it's just jokes. And guys were not that serious. And when Storm came and told us, now we are applying for your visa and everything and the plane tickets, now we saw it's serious. Now we are traveling. So
had you even applied for passports then?
No.
Kupuuza tu kawaida.
Yeah. So it was these normal jokes. Yeah. So when we saw we were called for passports and everything, then the visas, now we knew this is now serious. We are traveling. And for most of the guys coming from the slums, and you have never been at the airport the first time, it was just a shock, and our parents never believed that we are traveling. So for me and for the guys, to boarding that first plane to Limerick, it was just a miracle for us, and it was the best experience ever that it is keeping these guys going up to now.
So what was your experience playing at that under-21 championship?
For me now, that was the first serious game that I have ever experienced in my life, and also for the guys. So for us, it was difficult and tensed. We were tensed playing with the guys. She said, you ask someone and he tells you he started playing when he was 5 years and you have played for 3 years or 1 year. So it was difficult and the competition was so stiff, but we managed. So we managed to win 2 games, not as the girls. We managed to win 2 games. But what I can say for our experience is that we tried our best, because those guys have facilities and we don't have those kind of resources for now. Yeah.
All right. Now let me come to you, Muhando, and let's now talk about lacrosse. 3 formats: field, sixes, and box. Just describe each one of them and how different it is from the other. Let's start with field lacrosse.
For the 2, I'll just start with saying for the 2 championships that the women and the men went, we played field. It's the traditional lacrosse game that is played with 9 in field, then there's a goalie, makes it 10. So in total 10 people per team that's playing. For the sixes, it is the format that was introduced so that we can push the agenda for the Olympics in 2018 in Los Angeles. So it's a fast game. It's played 4 quarters, 8 minutes each. For the field game, it is same 4 quarters but 15 minutes per.
All right. So ideally, sixes is where you're playing 6 aside.
Yes, 6 aside.
5 and a goalie.
Yes, 5 and a goalie.
So it's basically a shorter version.
Yes.
And what will I talk about also? A smaller court.
Yes.
A smaller field.
A smaller field, yeah.
And now there's the other one that you call box.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Now, box is an indoor game, mostly played in Canada. For us here, we don't have the facilities to play box. Yes.
Just explain how box is different from the outdoor lacrosse.
It's a shorter field, basically, but it's more aggressive than even the field game. And it's actually meant for tougher people. Yeah. We haven't really ventured into box a lot because we think for now the only two versions we can do is field and sixes. Yeah. Okay.
Victoria, you wanted to say something?
No.
About basically just okay, Victoria. Just give us an outlook before I engage Davis so that he can, give some directions to the three who are across the studio. Looking at your growth in the game, given that you're playing field and also sixes, what we call 10-a-side and 6-a-side, how much fitness is required for each of the versions?
Oh, okay. For the sixes, like someone has to be really, really fit because you run for 8 minutes and you only have like 2 minutes to rest in each quarter. So, and everyone is playing everywhere. Like we don't have the midfielder, the attacker, and the defender. So everyone is attacking, everyone is defending. So when you lose the ball, you have to break, to run, to defend so that you are not scored. So it really requires a lot of fitness and endurance compared to the field one. Yeah, the field one, it's not that aggressive. And for the sixes, you have to be like very, very fast. Yeah.
But Muhando, let me just get these dimensions right.
Okay.
For the field lacrosse, how big is that pitch? If you were to put it into a context, it is the size of, say, a basketball court, a handball court, or a football court.
Okay, for the field game, it's maybe the size of a rugby pitch or a football pitch. Sixes is probably half that size, football pitch. The sixes, yes.
Wow. I'm just trying to imagine the size of a hockey field and you've got to do all that running with that in it. Well, lacrosse, we've spoken so much of the theory, so at the moment, Vincent, Valerie, and McLean, just hold the instructions now are going to be given by Coach Davis. So Davis, you could start by asking, the players who are out there across the studio, just first of all, the basics of the game, about handling the stick and the passes, the basic passes. Just now, take that with Vincent, McLean, and Valerie.
Okay, we'll start by Vincent. He will show us how the boy stick is used to cradle the ball so that you don't lose that ball. So Vincent, can you cradle, please?
So when you have the ball, you have to maintain it in the stick, you don't run like that. So you have to cradle it to maintain that ball in the stick, that rhythm. Yeah, that's cradling.
That's basically like when you are starting off with the younger people, a new player. That's for the boys, for the starters, just cradling. And then we shall use the girl stick.
Okay, just something. We know you're using that stick. It's got the net underneath. How do you ensure that that ball doesn't drop off the net?
Now, when you're cradling, it keeps, it maintains the ball inside the net, and it keeps you safer from the other opponent. He can't take the ball from you that easily. Yeah, and the boy stick is more deeper than the girl stick. Yeah.
Okay. There we've seen it. All right. The next move.
So the next stick is with Valerie. That's the lady's stick. It's not that deep. Now, there are different versions of cradling with the girl stick than the boy stick. So maybe she should show us how the ladies cradle. Now, that's basically the ladies cradle. It's not that hard like the boys, and also the ladies game is that more soft than the boys. boys is more physical than the girls' game. Yeah.
Quite aggressive.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, passing the ball around.
Now we shall just start basically with a normal passing, just straight passes. Normal passing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Vincent and Valerie, let's see this.
Yeah. Now that's just normal passing on a standstill. There's something called cautioning, which Valerie is more doing that cautioning, and also Vincent. So when like Vincent passes the ball to Valerie, she needs to caution, and for the boys stick, you need like just one cradle to maintain that ball, like to keep the control of the ball. Yeah.
So basically,
That's cautioning.
that's where the reverse movements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I want to see McLean try and steal the ball from Valerie. Let's see
Yeah.
how he. Okay. Just face each other, right across. Yes, that way, such that you don't have the back to each other. So let's see how that happens. Okay.
Yeah.
This is a serious dancing
Yeah.
competition.
So you need like to dodge, and you also ensure that the ball doesn't come out of your stick, because you will lose possession. And for the ladies, we don't have that much checking, yeah, because it's more of just running and trying to dodge, but it's not that aggressive or hitting, yeah.
So the men's game is actually very, very aggressive.
Yeah, yeah. Tough.
So,
you need to have a helmet, elbow pads, and everything like to guard your body, because it's more aggressive. They will push you and they'll like check. So you need to be more safer.
okay. Now, let's just take a look at how you defend against an opponent. So I know McLean and Valerie, maybe you could just demonstrate that. Basically the kind of motions that you've got to do when trying to defend or when trying to get past a player. And then Coach Davis, you will give us an indication of what would be a foul in such a scenario.
Okay. So that's basically defending with the ladies. You just push, but once that like she turns her back on McLean, that's a foul. That's a foul.
That is a foul.
It's not allowed. Again, when she hits Valerie's sticks, that way, that's a foul again. And also, you don't like cross-check. Cross-check? Cross-check, that's cross-checking, so you are not allowed to do those kinds of things. And if the ball is on the ground, you are not allowed to cover it that way. That's also a foul from the girls' game. Yeah, and also kicking. Yeah.
Okay. Now, what about the men's game?
On the men's side, Vincent, give Val the ball. So, on the men's side, you can check. Yeah, you can check it's not a foul. And also you can push. Yeah.
Okay.
Also, if the ball is on the ground, you can either kick it or just scoop it directly. There's no foul there. But on the boys' side, fouls come when you hit the helmet. You check on the legs somewhere, and also on the back, like Vincent is doing. That's a foul from the boys' side. Yeah.
So, can you cover the ball in men's game?
Yeah, men's game you can cover the ball.
Kwa nini bwana?
I don't know, but they are changing the rules each and every time. But on the men's game, you can cover the ball, then...
No, I mean a tackle from behind in football is a tackle from behind in football. It doesn't matter whether it's the Women's World Cup or the Men's World Cup.
No, but on the boys it's allowed. On the ladies, it's not allowed. Because on the boys' side, you can cover the ball and maybe you try to scoop it. on behind because the other opponent has an helmet, but on the ladies' side they don't have that protective gear, so it is more dangerous than the men. Yeah.
So when you put on the protective gear, how many kilos of equipment do you have on your body? Because you mentioned a helmet, something protecting your chest, and also the elbows.
You add almost like, let's say, 7 kilos. Yeah, 7 kilos.
The boots also.
The boots.
And the boots.
Also. Yeah. And you have to run with those things, those equipment.
Tizi fitness mnafanyia wapi kwa jeshi?
It's just like you need to keep yourself fit. You need to train each and every time you get that chance. And also, you know, on the slums area, you need to look for places like you can train. Yeah.
Okay, so now you're headed for the Sixes World Championships, and this is why I want to bring you in, Winwright. Just tell us about the process of Kenya being selected to go for this World Championship, the Sixer side.
First, this is our first Sixes Women Championship tournament in Canada, Ontario. So we got an invite to participate in the Sixes tournament scheduled for 6th.
Is it in the same town where they played the under-19s?
Yes.
Peterborough?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's in the same town. The team will leave on 1st, and start playing on 6th to 8th. I think it will be a good opportunity, at least to, since we are moving from the traditional field game to the Sixes. It's a good opportunity in preparation maybe for the Olympics in 2028. That's if lacrosse goes back to the Olympics. Yes.
Yeah, actually there are 2 ways it goes back to the Olympics: a demonstration sport or a competitive sport.
Yeah.
Now let me get McLean and Valerie to speak. McLean, I'll start with you. How has been that adaptation from field to Sixes as a lacrosse player? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I can.
Okay. So anyway, McLean, I'll let somebody speak for you, and that is Victoria. The transition from field to Sixes, what has it been for you?
Well, it hasn't been that tough, given that you already had the skills how to handle the ball, and we had the knowledge of lacrosse already. So we actually started training and practicing for the Sixes this year. That's in March, and we've been really doing great. Like, Winwright here is also our fitness coach, and he pushes us to go for that fitness because we really, really need it. So we've been doing our best, and it has been easy for us because we are not new in the game. Yeah.
Where have you been training, Winwright? So as you prepare for, where are you training now as you prepare for the Sixes Worlds?
For now, we cannot exactly say we have a home, but Lenana has been gracious to us, Lenana School, to allow us train in their facility without paying anything. Yes.
And to grow the sport, how would people reach out to you so that we see lacrosse happening more? The growth of lacrosse happening across the country.
We have our social media pages. That's at Instagram is at Kenya Lax. Facebook we have Kenya Lacrosse. Yeah, and you can always get us at Lenana. That's we do have after every 2 weeks training, Lenana School. So anyone who probably wants to visit and see what we do, that's the place to be.
You're training. What's the frequency of training now as you go for the World Championships? 2 weeks.
We've been doing 2 weekly.
That's at Lenana.
Yes.
But each one of them has got to keep their program.
Yes.
So, for example, Victoria, where do you train normally?
Well, I stay in Kisumu, I usually do my training at home. I do all balls. I have my stick and a ball at home. So I do all balls, and when it's time for the whole team to gather for training, we all show up because we all come from different places.
Well, so looks like Davis, if you have to work with the team, then kazi ipo.
Yeah, kazi ipo.
Okay.
But actually we have lacrosse in universities. It's being introduced in universities, and a lot of high schools are playing lacrosse. So most of lacrosse players who are done with high school and are joining university, we are looking on how we are going to spread the game in the universities also.
All right. Now you've got a reputation to keep, so we know how well you performed way back in 2019, and that means that what are your expectations? How many wins? You had 4 years ago. How many now?
Now we are going for more than 4. We want to beat all the countries we are going to play with.
We shall be looking out for that. And thank you very much for coming in here and talking about this sport and giving us that demonstration. And we hope to see another film done, because when it comes to team sport and film done here in Kenya, there are few. So lacrosse has already done that. Thank you very much, Davis Wafula. Thank you very much, Victoria Nasimiu. Thank you, Winright Muhando. And also our 3 demonstration players, Valeria Nyango, Maclean Osaji, and Vincent Onyangi. My name is Daniel Wahome. Thank you very much for being with us over the past 2 hours, where we've had conversations on basketball, wrestling, yes, Greco-Roman wrestling, not the WWE type of wrestling, and also lacrosse, where the women's team is going for the Sixers World Championships in Peterborough, Canada next month. Our sign language interpreter has been Anne Wangeshi. Coming up next is Kurunzi Mashinani with Nancy Okore, to be followed by Tamrini, which is our interview segment. Thank you for being with us. Have a good day.